Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM20 story from Dorking Wanderers with me, Daniel. It's season 17, episode 2, and today we're back for our Europa League debut. We won the next competition down last year at the Europa Conference, and now we're stepping up and we have got the toughest game on paper in the group first. We go to Italy, we go to Florence, and we are facing the mighty Fiorentina. However, there is good news off the pitch. Interestingly, news of a signing despite the window being shut and a near miss on a financial landscape for us that could have changed this save forever. However, we are top of the Premier Leagues with 5 games gone. We've started really well just as we did last year following the first day disappointment. But this season we seem to be consistent. We're one of only 2 teams alongside Wolves that hasn't yet lost this year. And perhaps more encouragingly, some of the big boys have dropped a few points already. So you can see Tottenham, Arsenal and Liverpool have all dropped 7 points from 5 matches. City and Chelsea have both dropped 3. But hopefully 1 or 2 of those can have a bad season. And then the top 4 becomes a reality perhaps. But we have got some bad news on the front for this game. We were talking about this from last season. Davy and Council, the stars in Europe. And from that backup team, Zach Council is missing today. And he would have been so crucial for us. But unfortunately, that's going to be a weakness for us. However, we have got things looking good financially. We are looking all right on the pitch. So let's go and talk through our early season form and our surprising signing and financial near miss. So if you are looking forward to this episode, a Europa League debut, please do put a thumbs up on the video. Subscribe down below to stay up to date with all of the content across the channel. You can catch up with episode 1 and the summer special in the eye above. You can see the head coach the latest season and our new series with Macclesfield Town. And thank you again for your support with the weekly live streams. More and more new faces coming along and I really do appreciate it. So let's go and firstly start by having a look at the schedule. It's the natural place to go first. It is where we have succeeded this year. A good unbeaten pre-season, though we weren't spectacular by any means. And the same goes for the Premier League so far. We've had a positive start. And it looks like with a couple more good games to come, we should be able to continue that. We've got a Carabao Cup tie against Sheffield Wednesday, which we'd like to win. We've got Derby at home in the Premier League next, which we need to win if we want to compete for the top 4. And Bar United away, that friendly run continues to November, where Liverpool provides the start of a horror run. I mean, in December, we play Tottenham, City, Chelsea, the unbeaten Wolves so far, our last Europa League game. And then January starts with Arsenal and United and an FA Cup tie. So at the moment, things look alright, but there is potentially a lot of negativity to come. So we've got to make the most of this positive start. We've got a Europa League group with Fiorentina, today's opponents, TNS, who we had in the Europa Conference last year, and Dinamo Zagreb. I wonder if Messi is still in charge of TNS. He is. Their key player is still Enoch, who is a good target man and winger, but certainly nowhere near the standard that we're playing. But the fact they've got to the group stages is an incredible achievement, and Messi is doing an unbelievable job in Wales. But let's have a look at our results so far. You are with me for the 1-0 win at Reading, Ari Ensink with that goal. A 2-0 win at home to Bournemouth, Coppins and Semedo with 1 apiece. Away at Watford, a 1-1 draw, Keith Bolters drawing us back on term. And then into September, a 2-0 win against Everton, Morale and Coppins with a goal each. And 3-1 at Brighton, a Ryan Lima penalty, and he was absolutely sensational. Back to his best, and long may that continue, because he's been in good form this year so far. But we don't want to get too excited just yet. We did fall away quite dramatically last year, and of course, with a tougher midweek set of fixtures coming up this season, it could well continue. TNS, the second best side in our Europa Conference group last year, they're by far the worst side in this group. Just shows you the difference we're dealing with. But we want to go on a run. We want to keep competing for trophies. Now we've got the taste for one and we've lost a few domestic cup finals. We want to improve it. And we've got one signing that's a little bit of a surprise. So if we go to the transfer screen and we go to our transfer history, we have signed a very experienced Ryan Brewster. Now he's coming at 35 years of age on a free agent deal. 24 caps for England, 13 goals on £7 a week. And with 2-star ability and a very quick decline in physical attribute set. Now mentally and technically he's still very good, and we almost signed one other on that front as well. However, the reason we've brought Brewster in is due to panic on transfer deadline day for European clubs. So of course the English window on here, like it did in real life last season, shuts before the Premier League season starts, and at the end of August all of the other European countries do. Now what happened on transfer deadline day is our striker, the main man himself, Jeff Coppins, we had an offer from AC Milan. Now he'd been unhappy because he wanted to move to other clubs. We kept rejecting the offers. And you can see the asking price here is 107 million. And that is what AC Milan offered for this player. 107 million. And although we didn't have another striker at the club, bar Ewan Davey, I had to accept it. I had to accept whatever was going to come the 4 months afterwards. We knew Stokic could play up front as a natural striker, so we knew that we just needed to get a player in to cope with the squad. But what unfortunately happened after all of that is Jeff Coppins rejected AC Milan after moaning about leaving. He's now saying he's happy. He's now saying we've got a great chance in the Europa League. And to be fair, he's now a little bit back into form as well, which we hope will continue. So I'm hoping that form won't just be a temporary patch because we need him to start scoring more goals. We need him to start producing his Belgian form against top opposition in the Premier League. And hopefully he'll do that, or that 107 million is going to be the biggest regret of the series. We accepted the offer, he rejected the club. Not a great deal we can do. But Ryan Brewster is in for that reason. At the moment, he serves as our third choice striker. He'll be on the bench today as we go to face Fiorentina in the Europa League. Our debut in that competition, and this is the backup side we've got in place for it. Fiorentina are almost selling out the ground. We'll go and have a look at their squad in a second. But for us, Zach Council's going to be the miss. Everywhere else, we're solid. We've got Leonardo Fabrizio in goal. The new keeper has made one league appearance due to an injury to Afonso and got a clean sheet against Everton. We've got Pollock and Williams, the fullbacks, Cohen Mertens alongside Roger Solly, Jonton and Boyce in midfield, Gleedle covering on the right wing with McLaughlin and White the attacking midfield three, and Ewan Davey on his own up front. He was so close to being the man that we had to rest in this game, but as it stands, he is still our number 2 striker. A lot of first teamers on the bench, Andre and Brewster as well. Mazzino back to fitness, so Williams has already played 3 Premier League games this year. So good experience for the youngsters. That will continue today. Let's have a look at the Fiorentina team, shall we? Their best striker, he's not that great. Let me go and have a look at the actual team. So they've got their best player injured. Look who the keeper is. My word, he gets on the move, doesn't he? Michael Stropper is in goal for Fiorentina. He played against us in a Carabao Cup final for Burnley. He played for us for multiple seasons in the Premier League and made us a 1000% profit when he left the club. And he is now the keeper we come up against today. Their backup, their cup goalkeeper, and Europa League football is what he's there for. They've got a left back in Pedro Fiorina who looks like their best player. So we're going to keep an eye out for him. And I think Fiorentina are going to provide stern opposition. I would not be surprised if we finish behind them in the group. So let's get into the first game. What do you think the score will be? And how do you think we're going to get on? It's going to be difficult with a backup side, but we'll give them their shot and their chance to succeed. Here we go then. Michael Stropper is in goal. The left wing back is in the team. There are plenty of quality players here for this club. But we've got to focus on ourselves. We're playing a 4-2-3-1. We're coming up against a back three, which we normally struggle with quite a bit. So I am worried about that. We're going to encourage the team and adjust some of these tactics. Gleedle will become an advanced playmaker on attack. And White will become a winger on attack, something we know he's good at. But for Gleedle, it's about getting on the ball. The same for McLaughlin, the same for Boyce, the same for Jonton. And we just have to hope it will be enough. We've got a really good team at the back. I am tempted to change our style of play because Mertens and Solly are not particularly good on the ball. And that's something that our other centre-halves are great at. But these two have got to learn, particularly Solly. So we're going to drop to balanced away in the toughest game of the group. But everything else and the game plan and the style will stay the same. Fiorentina v Dorking, this is a massive moment for our football club. And we've got a throw on the left-hand side with Williams into Aaron White. And he's lost possession there. It's a deep area of the pitch, but they've got men forward here. The two up front will always be a problem for us as they pick it up on the right here. Good challenge by Carl Boyce. Keeps possession well and then loses it again. Oh, what a weird start this is. We can't keep the ball. It's back to the right-hand side. Velasco wide. Crosses in. It's going to be 1-0, is it? No, just over the bar from the striker. I'm going to drop the fullbacks to defend here. In fact, they're already on that, so I don't know what more we can do. But the front two causing trouble for Fiorentina already, as Pollock plays a 1-2 on the right, in towards Davey and is headed away. And Fiorentina look the more comfortable here, as Stropper clears long downfield. And it's into the centre forward, who goes back to Saya. Playing in the middle, he finds Nenkioli. Out to the right-hand side, Pollock intercepts. Brilliant stuff from the fullback and finds Gleedle. He's got two inside of him, but he's going alone at the moment. Gleedle keeps possession. Pollock's with him. Crosses himself though, Davies up. And Michael Stropper does really well to hold that. We know about his qualities and he is producing them so far. Always has the best game of his life against us since he's left. It's Aaron White on the left wing again though. We're hitting for relentless pressure on them. It's a good challenge. The referee's going to VAR here. Is he? He's given a penalty. How on earth have they got a penalty out of that? Carl Boyce is not a good penalty taker. I don't know why he's taking this. Boyce steps up and Stropper can't get there. Every bit of doubt is gone there. Carl Boyce with a brilliant penalty. And we lead 1-0. It was a very fortunate decision. I would argue it was a good tackle. But Dorking lead at Fiorentina. And Carl Boyce scores with the first shot on target of the match. What a start to the game of football at the very least. 20 minutes gone. There is news from the other game in the group as well. Dinamo Zagreb lead TNS. We do expect the Welsh side to be the whipping boys in this group. But to be honest, the fact that they're in this group stage is such a big achievement. It will be so big for them financially as well. And Welsh football is starting to get on the map. He took them through the group stages in the Europa Conference last year, into the deciding knockout games. And this time he's got them to the Europa League groups. And it's something that we're hoping to progress from. We lead 1-0 at half time. The game has gone very quiet. And that suits me down to the ground, because we do not want another highlight really. A comfortable win will do the job for us. We want to bring Mazzino on at left back to get some fitness. With Williams looking apprehensive, and the fact that he's played league games already, I'm more confident to do that. We've also got problems in attacking areas. Gleedle looks nervous, but of course there's much more pressing concerns in terms of performance up there. So let's put Gleedle into the middle. He's an attacking midfielder on support. He'll be fine there. And for now we'll put McLaughlin on the right, and we'll give it 10 more minutes. 70 on the clock. Ewan Davey has had a shocker. He's going to be replaced by Ryan Brewster, who will make his debut for the club. An advance forward on attack, let's go for poacher. That's what he wants to do. That's what his attributes suggest, so let's get him in the box. Then we've got a choice between White, Gleedle and McLaughlin. Stokic is probably the man we want to bring on, which would suggest I'd have to take White off. Or I could bring Lima on for one of the other two. Or potentially we've got the injury concern with Mertens, who's not match fit. So let's leave it 5 more and then make a final decision. I was about to make a change, but now Fiorentina are playing out from the back, and you know my superstition, as it's long out wide to Fiorina. We know he's a brilliant wing-back. It's a good challenge Jonton, but it falls for the centre-forward, and that slid in for 1-1. It's a brilliant finish. Solly couldn't get near him. He took it early, and although this would still be a good result, it's not a great moment for us. So we're going to take Peter McLaughlin off for Ryan Lima. With 15 minutes to go, we'll get him on as a winger on attack and just try and feed Ryan Brewster on the box, who needs one chance to get himself a goal. We demand more, 10 more left. We have still just had the better of this game, but the most important thing is we don't lose it. If we draw away to Fiorentina, I'm confident we'll get through. But they've got pressure on again from a set piece, and it's a good save for Fabrizio. He really was concerned by that. So we are going to think about going positive just for stoppage time. 4 minutes have been added on as the long kick finds Aaron White. Down to Brewster. Finds White again, left side of the box. 4 in the middle. Lima's one of them. Ryan Lima puts it in. And into stoppage time on the stroke of 90 minutes. Ryan Lima off the bench has continued his brilliant form. And it is Fiorentina 1, Dorking Wanderers 2. What a moment that could be for this football club. Away in our toughest game of the group stage, it looks like wild celebrations to be had by the English side. And Fiorentina are going to be fighting for second. What a fantastic moment. Pollock will become a fullback on defend. Mazzino will become the same. We're going to have central defenders on defend for the other two. No need for us to get further forward there. In fact, the cover duty is not a disaster. We'll drop the wingers to support as well and just leave Brewster there on his own. But this could be a famous night for Dorking as we leave Fiorentina with just 1 minute of stoppage time to go. Dinamo nick a late second in their game, but who cares? We have got 3 points on the board. What a performance. Dorking Wanderers win on their Europa League debut, and we're going to be chasing 2 European trophies in 2 seasons there. 500 grand for winning a match, that's important to the club, although I don't think any more than the prize money was for the conference. Ryan Brewster's retiring at the end of the year, they keep mentioning that, but he played alright when he came on. So as a squad player in a backup team, I've got fairly high hopes for him. I feel like he's going to be decent. So I guess the one thing we've got to do with us winning that and Dinamo winning their match is just have a look at their side. Because Croatia in this game continue to produce good youngsters. Benic looks a very good one on loan from Roma. I presume he was sold and then loaned back. Juric looks not bad, but I would argue Fiorentina are better. So I think that result is a really positive sign for us. If we can continue with 2 more wins in the next 2 games, I'll start to feel like we can compete on 3 or 4 fronts. We need to try and chase the top 4 in the Premier League. With the start some of our rivals have had, I feel like that could be done. And with our start in Europa League, I feel we can chase that. We need a friendly draw in the Carabao Cup. We need to get to a final and face a lower side. I know the first one we came up against Burnley, but we weren't ready for a cup final then. If we get to that sort of occasion now and we face a mid-table, lower league side, we will beat them. I'm sure of that, as we did with Hibs in the conference. So certainly an interesting episode. The finance is looking fantastic. Don't forget those improvements are nearly done. The stadium expansion is completed in 2 months. The training facilities will be done by the January window. And the dynamics are looking exceptional. The influencers at the club are still getting games in Europe, and that means they're not unhappy. So all of the things off the pitch are working out well for us. And on it, we've started like a house on fire. But we have to continue that form. And we will be back to find out how we get on in around a month and a half's time. So I'm tempted to come back for this Liverpool game. They are the side, of course, who won the league last year. They're the side that beat us in the FA Cup final. So we want to try and get a bit of revenge. And depending on how the other competitions are going, we'll either show Leicester at home in a Premier League double-header or TNS away in the Europa League. We may even have a Carabao Cup tie around there as well. So we'll wait and see how that goes. But if you did enjoy this episode, our Europa League debut and a brilliant performance over in Italy, please do put a thumbs up on the video. Let me know what you thought of the Brewster signing and of course the near miss with Jeff Coppins. He's not worth 107 million. I wish he had gone. But in the grand scheme of things for these 4 months, it might work out to be a blessing in disguise. If you haven't already, subscribe down below and turn on that notification bell to get alerts as daily FM20 content releases on the channel. We'll be back tomorrow with our usual weekend doubleheader, Macclesfield Town at 1 PM, a massive moment as we find out what's going to happen financially. We left last Sunday in loads of debt, in trouble in the FA Cup and on the brink of administration. But there was that little glimmer of hope of a takeover being discussed. So will it go through or will we be losing 12 points? Come and check it out tomorrow to see what happens. And of course we'll have the head coach at 4:30 as well. A big moment in the series as we potentially come to the very end. We're chasing La Liga and of course the Champions League. And if we win the latter, the series will end and be replaced by our new one next week. Of course, the Stadium Review series continues every Sunday, as do the live streams on Tuesday mornings. Thank you for your incredible support with those. And finally, please do check out the podcast channel in the eye above. I've had interviews with loads of professionals, media personalities and all sorts in recent months. And we've got the action coming thick and fast in the new season in September. So please do come and hang around for that. No Premier League content there. It's EFL, UK football and non-League 2. They are our 3 areas of passion and hopefully that's reflected in our content. Thank you for your support with helping that grow. Thank you for your continued support with this series. And I hope to see you next time for a big moment with Dorking as we try and compete for the top 4 and test last season's Premier League champions. Fingers crossed we can now compete with the best. But of course, we'll have to determine that on the pitch.